Group can be so powerful. People go away feeling like they never felt judged, they felt held, they felt compassion, they felt like they belonged. Belonging's another big, huge piece. And so walking away with maybe a different perspective on human beings, sometimes that happens.
Welcome to the Mindful Humanship podcast with Amy Monea
and Angie Payne. Is it possible that an animal, horses, can lead us to be mindfully human?
Join us as we discuss the wisdom of the horse and the impact they can have on our everyday lives.
Our conversations are guided between the reins of connection and mental health.
All right, here we are for episode 11 of Mindful Humanship. We did our last one and we had a special guest.
Super special.
Super special. He thinks he's super special anyway.
Yeah.
So hope if you watched it, if you enjoyed it, let us know what you thought and if you liked our guest or if you didn't. Anyway, so it's just the two of us today.
So the best you get.
Yep.
You're welcome.
We thought we'd chat a little bit about like what we do here is, individual counseling, but we also facilitate a fair amount of groups, different kinds of groups. We do like kind of introductory where it's meet a horse, lead a horse, see what the horse has to share with you, that kind of thing. So we try really hard not to go too deep in those groups, although I have to say that horses don't really care about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care that we have a plan to just keep it kind of at the surface, maybe an awareness or something like that. They don't care. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, even in those groups, we've had instances where it's gone a little bit deeper than maybe we expected or the people that attended expected. Then we do a little deeper process groups. So I've done, 6-week series where it's the same people that come together every week for 6 weeks. So because of that, the container feels fairly safe. And so deeper work can be done. But then twice a year, we try twice a year anyway, Amy and I have been doing a Mindful Humanship weekend retreat for about 10 years now, really.
I think since the start. At the start, we did it 3 hours in 6 weeks, and we kind of played with the retreat or like the weekend intensive versus the 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And just for folks who are traveling, and actually for me, it's easier to carve out a weekend than like a Friday evening or a Saturday for 6 weeks in a row. For those groups.
Yes, which is why I tend to do those ones by myself, because Amy just doesn't. She's got 2 kids and a farm and. So we do that group twice a year, and it has proven to be like a really special weekend, hey? Like for people that come, we don't take more than 8 people because we really want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to do at least one deep process piece of work. I guess like the question might be, well, how do you know if you're ready to do a group like that? What is the difference? Why is it more powerful, at least as far as we're concerned?
Why would I want to do a group?
Yeah.
Happy in my individual sessions.
Exactly. Yeah. So what are the answers to those questions?
You betcha. So those are such good questions because there are obviously a lot of differences between group and individual. And group is, I would say there's a little bit higher level, or a little, for some people it'd be a lot higher level of vulnerability. And also, I would say like opportunity for healing. I don't know if that's the right word, but processing at a deeper level. There's just something about being in the presence of other people who are curious or on a journey of recovery, growth, healing, whatever that is. We're wanting to leave some stuff in the sand and being supported. Like when we say our truths, when we're safe enough to say our truths and people don't run away or just say, me too, or are held in compassion by a group of people, it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Our traumas are often in the presence or because of, not necessarily in the presence. Well, a lot of human trauma is caused by another human. Right. So when we are trying to repair those attachment traumas, or recover from them or process them to be able to move forward in a more healthy way, it is very powerful to be able to heal and recover in the presence of other people. That doesn't mean that that has to happen. And it's also kind of why we have the horse here too, because if you don't want to talk to people, that's fine. You can talk to the horse. Why would someone do group as opposed to individual? A lot of our people who come to our group start with individual.
They do. Yeah, right. We might have a client that, has done some really powerful work just in an individual session. So with either Amy or I, with the horses, but there's still work to be done, but they're starting to feel safer in the work that they've already done. And so that might be a great opportunity for them to jump into a group because they're now feeling comfortable. They know me or they know Amy and they feel comfortable in the surroundings. So that's also really important when you're on that journey and you're becoming vulnerable, that you feel safe in the surroundings that you're in. And so they may jump into a group at that point, or they may say, I'd love to join the group. Do you think I'm ready to be in the group? Well, that's not for me to tell them, but I can certainly help them kind of talk through
like some of those increased vulnerabilities, what to expect, that kind of thing. And are they prepared? Do they feel safe in a place to do that? Yeah. I also think that doing some work, sometimes people can plateau if the therapeutic process is the same with the same therapist for a long time.
Yeah.
It can be valuable to have a shakeup.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah. Group can be so powerful. In fact, all of the work that I've done, not all of it now because I still go to therapy when I need to, but at the beginning, all of it was done in group. I just jumped in and went, sure, why don't I just do this? That's going to be fun. But it was so powerful because people go away feeling like they never felt judged, they felt held, they felt compassion, they felt like they belonged. Belonging's another big, huge piece. Mm-hmm. And so, walking away with maybe a different perspective on human beings. Sometimes that happens.
And I think that's the optimal, what our goal is. But I think that's really important to slow down on that point, that group is not something that everyone can or should facilitate. It is a really important process to go through to develop safety, develop that container, and then support people to become more vulnerable. So if you're going to help them kind of go down into those depths, you got to be able to help them as a group be able to come back up at the end of the day, but also at the end of the weekend. So it's not just you want to run a group, give her and just ask those deep, hard questions. Slow down. It's a lot. And even as a new therapist, I was really excited about it. And some of the learnings I've had over the years, or I think you and I have had, maybe I won't talk for you, sometimes less is more, and being able to kind of close that up and having people leave feeling safe and capable to go back into their lives is the most important part of group process.
Yeah.
Like that's the most important part.
Well, I think
individual sessions too.
Exactly.
The most important part.
Exactly. I think that it's really important as facilitators, as we sit in our circle, to be able to identify what work each person can do. Because sure, Amy and I can go to the depths of hell if we need to, but not everybody is ready to do that. So even though we could do it with them, doesn't mean they can successfully do it. And that's okay. That is totally okay. So it's important that the facilitator understands, the people that are in their group, which is why we spend 2 hours in our opening container on Friday night. That is all we do, is we set a container of safety. And we spend 2 hours doing that, finding out who the people are in our group, where they've come from, what they're here for, what they desire to get out of it. All of those things is what we spend 2 hours doing, so that the rest of the weekend, we can hold those people in the way that they need to be held. We can work with them in the way they will need to do the work, right? Some people do super deep work that can trigger other people.
That's the other part I was thinking about with group. You got like your person that wants to do the work. And it's also like the double-edged sword. Other people can easily be triggered. But the beautiful part about group work is you don't have to be the one doing the work for the whole weekend and can still experience incredible value and growth and awarenesses, supporting or witnessing or holding space for someone else to do their work, which I love.
Well, and you can sit there and be like,
right. Oh, I'm not a terrible person. That person's obviously not a terrible person. Look at them. And they've been through something that I've been through, like a similar experience or a similar shame, thought process, whatever. Okay. If you're not terrible, I guess I'm not terrible.
Yeah, they see compassion in that other, like, we're all really good at being compassionate to other people. Sometimes we're not so compassionate to ourselves.
Yeah.
But when you can sit and look at somebody else and go, oh my God, like that, she's not terrible. Why does she think she's terrible? She's not. Oh, that might then transfer back onto you and go, oh, right. Oh, maybe I could give myself some of that compassion.
Which, like, as a 9 or even like a 10 out of 10 introvert for me, I love that. Because when you said, oh, I only did group work at the start and it was great. And I was like, and it was, for me, it was like, right. I'm a runner. I'm out. Bye. But that process, like, even there are folks sometimes who are like, I don't want to be the person doing the work. I want to be here to sit in this circle and to support and to be able to also do my work through that process of supporting and being with and processing, like, internally. One time we had a weekend group. It was incredible. All introverts, like super high introverts. So it was like a lot of silence and it was my jam. Not real. Well, yes, really. Actually, really. Like, this is what I was made for.
I'm more of a, okay, come on, let's do.
What are the words?
Like,
I'm like, sit with that.
Right.
Take your time.
And I also think that's the other huge benefit of the work that we do is that we are quite different. We practice the same methodologies. We get what each other is doing, but we do it very differently. We deal with people very differently. I'm more of a, like, let's just push that edge a little bit, whereas Amy's quite happy to just sit and be silent with somebody, which can be very, very, very powerful. I'm learning to do that. I'm still not great at it. So, and also, like, this is not a talk therapy group. That is not what this is. This is not what we do here. Is it beneficial? Yes. But this is not a group where we're going around the circle and we're telling our stories and we're giving each other advice and things like that. We don't do that.
In fact, like, people who go to talk therapy first are like, you're primed to come to our group because you already like processed it all up here upstairs,
Right.
or like have done a lot of processing. You've got some education, probably got some skills, some strategies. I know how I should be thinking. I know this. But our groups are about like starting at the bottom up, like, and bringing the kind of reconciling the head and the heart.
Yeah.
It's one of the things we say in the book, like the longest distance from your head, or the longest 18-inch journey can be from your head to your heart.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. People that have done lots of talk therapy are great.
And you don't have to. Like, some people come, it might be their first therapeutic experience too.
Which then they're kind of like, if this is the first therapeutic experience they have, they're going to have a really hard time finding something
to talk
else.
therapy.
It's like, sorry, wait a minute, this is not therapy.
Yeah.
It's just a really unique way to process pain, I think. And group is, magical. We've got a couple of stories in the book of some things that have happened in some of our groups. And I think the other thing that's really cool is that some people that have been in group together continue to reach out to each other, check in on each other, support each other. And so even when we kind of are not part of the group anymore, they continue on. They form Facebook chats with each other, or they have, what's the text thing? Yeah, text on your phone. On the phone.
Miming. New skill for her.
On the phone. I'm not very techie, so
On the phone.
On the phone. That thing. Not that big, is it? Anyway. So that to me is a testament to the power of our groups, really, is that they walk away being able to support each other. They know things about each other that probably their family doesn't even know about them, right? And so when you get vulnerable, when you speak your truth, oftentimes people speak truth they've never, ever said before. And they're being witnessed. That's being witnessed by other people. And it's totally confidential. Nothing goes out of this arena. The stories that we've told, nobody would ever know who it was, when it was. It's very confidential. And so, I think that bonds those people together different than a friendship that you meet somebody and you have this friendship, but you don't really know their story or their truths or anything. In the group, that's oftentimes we don't even know what a person does for a living because it doesn't.
It doesn't so much matter here.
It doesn't so much matter.
Like these guys, bovines and equines, bovine, they don't care what you do for a living. They don't care if you went to university or even if you finished high school. They don't care. They care about what's inside. And so that's the point of the groups and why we bring animals in as our co-facilitators, should they so choose to be involved in that process, because they are masters at like reaching into a person and pointing out the parts that might be like incomplete or unfinished or still carrying a level of pain or a level of loss or a level of anger or fear or trauma, that kind of stuff. That's what they're so good at and why we work with them as our partners.
I think that one of the most fascinating things I see about horses is like when the truth is that sometimes we carry pretty big anger, and we store it because it's not acceptable to lose your shit and, scream, yell, swear, all of that. Totally acceptable here. And we do that work in the arena with the horses. We don't ever direct it at the horses. It can get pretty loud, and horses can be very sensitive to loud sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, they're like so curious about it, and rarely are they afraid of it because they already know it's there.
They're like, oh, thank God this predator is expressing what we're been tiptoeing around.
And they just get so curious. So we would do that outside the round pen. The horses would be inside, but they come as close to the front of the round pen as they can and want to be a part of it because they already know it's there.
It's interesting because horses are like, they have the space to move, and they will like often face up and get curious about it. But it's the dogs, like a fellow predator, that we're like, you guys, I'm going to go put you in a stall in your safe space while we do this anger work. And I wonder if it's like a predator thing, but for those prey animals, or for horses, it's not scary.
Right, because I think they know it's not directed at them. It's got nothing to do with them, and they already knew it was there.
They already knew it was there.
I was like, get that crap out.
I think it's the incongruence that is hard for those animals, because they rely so much on being sensitive to what's happening inside and what the intent is and what the intent of like the cover up is and like all those other pieces that are like locked away. They need to know that to survive. And that's why they're masters at doing this work. Like a dog, and the same thing, like a dog will be excited to see you every time. It doesn't matter if you like left them in the house for 24 hours. They're still like, hey, you're home. And horses don't seem to give it away for free.
Not at all.
They desire to connect when it's congruent, not just because they're happy to see you that day. Like,
yeah, you often say, I wonder if the horses just see a bunch of floating heads with no bodies because we're not connected to our body. And fair, I mean, there's a lot of good reasons why we would not be connected to our body. If we're carrying a lot of pain, we don't want to revisit, we don't want to feel it. So all of that is valid. However, as Gabor Mate says, like the body will say no, like the body will catch up with you, and things will happen where you have no choice but to maybe sit still or to be with your feelings. Another person we know says you got to feel it to heal it. And it's so true. And again, it's why horses are so good, because like they cannot connect. People want to connect with horses. But if a horse walks away, it's generally because they cannot connect, because they can't feel anything from you, because it's being like stored away or protected or kept or, whatever. We're really good at holding and carrying and putting down and stuffing in, which again, all valid. And all of those things kept us safe at some point in our life.
Super valuable strategies.
Absolutely. But there comes a point where we can't carry it anymore.
And I think like the goal would be to like be able to consciously decide instead of that being like the way we roll all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you just lose your crap.
Yeah, or like get small. Like I must get small,
right? And I'm more like, of a lose my shit kind of.
Yeah, and then she loses her shit, and I'm like, oh my god. But I can't help it. My body just like tries to hide. Be a good friend. Stand up beside your friend. I'm like, go. No, don't look at us. You're looking at us, Angie. But I've been working on that from my horsemanship perspective, and also like where I feel really competent, I do show up. Yes. And so it's funny, totally different story. I was at a cattle handling workshop. There was competition. I love to compete. Like for someone who's like small and likes to be small and like,
quiet.
I love to compete. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, when those cattle out, they need to be able to feel you, Amy. you need to be the most interesting thing in that whole arena. Get interesting. And I think all the other spectators were like, whoa, what just happened? Because I sat in this workshop as a student, as a learner, and then I'm like, these cattle are going to think I'm the most interesting thing they ever see.
That's when I get small. So if it's a case of win or lose, cool, I'm like, whoa. Intense.
She'll be like laughing still at the panel, and I'm like, in my like high school track and field days, remembering like the proper running, sprinting.
Yeah. So we reverse roles when it comes to win or lose.
When we're going up on a stage, I love this. You know what's happening by who's like hiding under the table.
We're winning at this.
We're winning. Come on.
If I gotta get big and kind of like tell what's up, then it's me. She gets small.
Yeah.
I remember one day we were driving past what was it?
Oh, there was a tractor convoy on the highway. And like, I'm an egg person, so I'm like, these are kind of like my people. But for whatever it was about, whatever. Anyways,
like, what the hell? There's
a tractor. Maybe we should pull over and have a conversation. I'm driving like this.
She's gonna open the window.
Angie, yell at them. These might be my friends. Stop.
I didn't roll down the window.
To these people. See what's going on.
What are you guys all driving down the highway in your tractors? What is going on?
Yeah. But if it was a race, I'd be like,
zoom.
Yeah.
My tractor can go faster than your tractor.
Look, what's that? Zoom.
There goes Amy. Oh gosh.
Sorry. So if there's ever competition, we're just like strolling, you and me, and all of a sudden it's a competition. Watch out.
Yeah. So that brings me to another really cool part about group is we do actually have some laughs.
We have a lot of laughs.
Yeah. Well, what was it? One year, like every year seems to be a theme.
Mm-hmm.
There was one get on the train or something.
Oh, get on the train. Yeah, it was like,
yeah, everybody get on the train. I don't know what it was all about, but
yeah. Oh, we had some good laughs. And then we try to, I don't know if we did potluck last time. No, we don't do potluck so much, but we eat lunch together and like, it's just lots of fun. And I think like the basis of therapy is like re-embracing our humanity.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we can try to facilitate, but if we don't embrace our own humanity, then what are we doing as therapists?
Yep. Yes. And to be able to, come somewhere, sit in a circle and begin to feel like you can just be you.
Mm-hmm.
How cool is that? Also, Amy and I participate in the circle as well. Like if we're going around the circle, we answer the questions too. We share who we are.
Mm-hmm.
We get not vulnerable, like we have to do our own work. No, because we're the facilitators, but we certainly will, if there's, be transparent about
exactly.
If something does come up and we do feel like we are a little bit triggered, we'll share that, but also we're really good at putting it up on the shelf. So if it is me, I'm putting it on the shelf, but as soon as group is over, I'm calling my therapist, right? Like I'm going to attend to this, but right now it's right now it's not about me, and I'm good at doing that, and I promise that I will attend to that when I can. Mm-hmm. That also helps people feel safe, because I'm sitting behind a clipboard. It's hard to have relationship, right? So something that's really important to us in group is that we are in contact with the people that are in the circle. We may talk about some stuff after the group for the next day. What are your thoughts? Blah, blah, blah. But when we're in group, we are in group.
Oh, actually, there is something we do. We'll say, can we talk about you in front of you? And people are like, this is so weird.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. then Angie and I'll turn and talk about it and like make kind of a plan, or we might just say, we're just going to step away. Is that okay if we like take a couple steps over here and like, this is what we're talking about, to make a plan of what to do?
Mhm.
Yeah. And so like that informed consent, that being part of the process, that's important. And it's not just something like, this piece of paper is informed consent. No, that's not informed consent. That just proves that you can read. And it doesn't even prove that you can read. It just proves that you signed something.
But that we are all in it together.
Mhm.
Right? Like, and our clients have a say in what happens in the group because it's their group.
That's right.
It's not our group, it's their group. So we're facilitating it, but like they get a say. And I think that that's also quite unique. That and also we don't know what's going to happen because they're horses, and so we have no idea what's going to happen. We might have a plan,
Yeah.
and the horse might say, "Actually, we're going to go this direction." And
Good idea.
Direction. Yeah,
Put
but
it in the no pile.
Okay, right. And so it's really important that we are guided by our clients and also by our co-facilitators, the horses.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have all the answers. I wish I did, but I don't.
Sometimes I pull out my magic wand, just make things better.
Yeah.
I wish.
Our fairy wings.
Just lock her. Get out this magic wand, problem solved. I wish.
So we do like individual pieces of work where the other people may play parts in the experience that we set up, but we also do some group activities as well that gets everybody going and moving. And yeah.
So, did we answer those questions as you posed at the start? Like,
you're asking about my questions were.
Do you remember the questions? Yes, at the start. How would I know if I'm ready for group? Is group for me? Kind of what's the process? I think, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you have done some individual work and are curious about group work, reach out to us. If this weekend sounds like the right space for you to like unplug from regular life and be able to like sit with yourself in a circle of people who are doing the same thing and wanting to sit with each other, tending to yourself so you can show up in your life for the people you love and yourself when you leave. Sometimes I think the only like wouldn't it be appropriate is if you are, I want to say like in your trauma, if in your healing journey you're highly triggered regularly or quite activated, that might be a place where I'm doing some individual work to build some regulation skills to be able to sit in a circle. The beautiful thing about the two of us is if someone gets triggered, one of us can carry the group while the other one follows someone out or like has a side conversation or supports someone to the side. But we also don't want to set you up for more trauma if you aren't at a place where sitting in a circle is something you can do. You can always reach out to us because you also don't have to sit. If it's just because you need to move, like we can talk about that and develop those safety procedures or the safety agreements at the start of the group. But that would be something I would be, I would consider. If am I ready for group?
And then another important thing is, of course, in the 2-hour opening circle, we are opening people up and we are doing it intentionally. That is what we're doing, is to find out what work there is for the weekend. So when you spend 2 hours opening people up, you have to make sure that you button everything up at the end. And so Sunday afternoon, we spend the entire afternoon buttoning everything up. So if somebody is still activated or they're still like, there's something still sitting in me, we have time to do that. But we also then have a closing circle, and it takes as long as it takes. It gives people an opportunity to say whatever they need to say to close the group out for themselves so that they can walk away feeling, buttoned up, I guess, for lack of a better word, but they are prepared to go back out into the world. They're not going, oh my God, they're still, I feel terrible, but the group is over. That absolutely cannot happen. And so we are very mindful about what we're doing in opening circle, but very mindful about what we're doing in closing circle as well.
Kind of complete. We want you to complete something while you're here, not like leave everything open. So that's the purpose. And I think, we spend at least double the amount of time closing than we do opening. Because it's really important from, like, if you're going to do some good work, then it's important to have the time to like integrate it and it make sense of it a little bit, but be able to carry it out of here and also have your feet on the ground, that kind of stuff. So it is something that I look forward to every year, and one of my favorite weekends or events. I love doing individual work, but it is really fun and re-inspiring to work with my partner in real time. That's you. And then if you miss like that, then
what was that? It's a new one.
And then like in a circle, it is a process that is, I think there's so much to it that in like our Western scientific model that we're trying to apply to psychology, is like ancient traditional wisdom and value that feels new, but it's something that has been powerful for folks who have been connected to the land and communities for thousands of
How
years.
many indigenous cultures sit in circle with each other? Like, that's just what they do. They don't even really think about it, but they have sweats and they sit in a circle, and they have pipe smoking and they sit in like everything is done in a circle with your community. And it brings healing. So our next one is October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of 2026. So we're super excited. We're starting to kind of rev up with marketing and things like that. So,
Question.
Yes.
If I have benefits, might they cover group?
They very well might. So Amy is a registered social worker in Alberta and Saskatchewan. And so many benefits do cover social workers. She's a clinical social worker. So many benefits do cover clinical social workers. And I am a counseling therapist registered with ACTA, and some benefits cover counseling therapists. They're getting better at it as we get closer to regulation. So if your benefits cover either social workers or counseling therapists, then we can help you get the documentation that you would need to send off to your benefits.
Yeah, and we can send you a estimate or a quote that you can call your benefits company to see about coverage.
Yeah.
Happy to do that. We do classify it as like a therapy weekend or group therapy. And so if that helps you to consider if this is the right space for you or something you want to look at, just let us know. Shoot us an email and I can get that done up for you and with our registration numbers, and you can see what coverage is there. So we are super excited.
Super excited. Cannot wait.
Thank you so much for joining us on episode 11 of the Mindful Humanship podcast, where we talk all things horses and humans and how horses help to lead us back to the better or more full or complete parts of us as humans.
Yeah. All right. Subscribe somewhere down there. Leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. If you have thoughts on something you would like us to chat about, leave it in the comments. And subscribe, like, share, all the things. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Mindful Humanship podcast.
May the horse always bring you home.